We need to have some sort of sustainability in the rental market too. We've had 3 consecutive months of decline in average prices. Okay, rental prices.
Yeah, take a look to your right.
Oh, yes, good timing, Darryl.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously oversupply. Then you've got some, things like COVID-19 and stuff like that too. A lot of people weren't deciding to make a move during that time. So there's a lot of factors here. I'd really like to see sort of like the long-term trend over the next 3 to 6 months. But either way, that's what the numbers are. And we're looking at a lot of Airbnb people who were trying to rent out short-term before have taken a huge hit, not just because Airbnbs were banned, not just because people are concerned about staying places and stuff like that too. But the hospitality and travel industry has been obliterated. So who's coming to the city to stay in the Airbnbs? Like when I travel throughout the States, I stay in Airbnbs all the time. That's what I do. And that's what people do when they come here to Toronto. So if nobody's coming, like if you're earning $6,000+ a month on your condo because you were renting it out and you had a great spot and everything else.
Forget about that you're earning. You have to earn $6,000 a month to pay the mortgage.
Yeah, some of them. So what
Downtown,
what do you do
when
that income is gone, right? Like you can't carry it. You have no choice but to go into a long-term rental. So that increases the amount of long-term rentals that are available.
And it shortens your amount of income.
If that's not going to, right? Yeah, if that's not going to cover your expenses, then you've got to put it on the market. That's why we've seen an increase in the inventory in the condo market, unfortunately. So
no, it's great though.
For condo prices?
No, it's going to get absorbed really quickly and then just go right back to where things were. It's all just going to get absorbed really quickly. Even these declines in rent. They're declining because nobody's moving around right now. But as soon as people start moving around right now and people start coming back in, those will creep back to where they were and go past it, because you don't go from absolute housing rental crisis, right? And not doing anything to deal with that. Like, what have they done? They've released some land for future development, right? And they've opened up maybe some new units or some I don't even know what they've done. They've done fuck all. They've approved like 4,000 new apartments. So like all this stuff that's going to go long term is going to get absorbed once people start moving around in a second. And all of a sudden people are going to start going, hold on a sec, the price was $2,300. Like, tell me honestly, who when the rent goes down, okay, month to month, by 4.7% or 7%, when it makes an $80 a month adjustment, how many people does that really like put out of the market on that product? When it makes $150 a month, like, does that really affect that many people? What's 100? It's $1,200 a year.
I think the main thing is this: if the supply of rental increases, prices will continue to fall. If the inventory in the condo market continues to outpace the sales at what we're seeing right now, then the condo market has got some potential issues as far as pricing goes.
But imagine the short term. Imagine what the short term looks like if we were to catch up supply and demand in this market. How crazy the sales would be in the next, like, what?
I agree. I'm not saying that it's not possible.
Where's the scenario where we don't go like ping again? Crazy.
There is a scenario. If the government continues to provide all the financial aid that they are, if they increase the CERB, if they extend mortgage deferrals, if they have a huge participation rate in the commercial rent assistance program for the small business owners who also own homes and condos.
That's going to squash the market?
No, that's gonna continue to propel the market the way that we were seeing in the first 3 months.
With or without it?
If the government says we're done, we're not giving any more support, you're on your own. If you're in trouble, guess what? You need to be selling. You need to be getting out of whatever it is you're doing. Then we could see a flood of inventory. We could see a ton of new properties come up for sale. We might see a huge chunk of the market no longer have the ability to buy because they've lost their job or they don't qualify anymore. And then we could have a negative downturn on the market. I'm not saying either scenario is more likely than the other or anything else. But I'm just telling you guys that there is definitely a chance that the success of our housing market is hinging on the ability and the willingness of the government to be able to provide the financial aid.
So
That's the truth.
so hold on a sec. So it I don't even think we have a 10% swing in unemployment from before till now. But let's just say a 10% swing. 10% of the however the stats work, because they don't work normal, like here's the amount of people that could work and want to work, and here's the amount of people that work. There's all kinds
Okay.
of crazy ways that they figure it out. But
Yep.
if 10%, like how much does that change the market when
So if 10%,
10% leave
if
the market temporarily?
but you have to think about it. It's a double. There's a double effect here. If 10% more buyers are no longer able to qualify because of unemployment, whatever it is, and 10% of the population no longer has the income to support to the property that they currently own,
They're
we're
not
gonna
the
have
same
we're
10%.
gonna have a 20% swing in supply and demand,
But aren't
which
they
will
the
push
same 10?
no,
Why? So there's
because
10% on top of the 10% that can't afford
with
it to.
10% less buyers, there's 10% more sellers.
Hmm.
Right? So now all of a sudden, people are getting out of the housing market because they need to sell, and we've got less buyers. Then we're going to have a swing, and we'll be in a buyer's market, and that happens again. Unemployment balances out. Those same amount of buyers. Immigration comes in. We've got government assistance protecting people. The mortgage deferrals are extended. We've got all these people who are able to keep their homes and not forced to sell, because at the end of the day, in order for prices to go down, people need to be willing to sell for less than their neighbors did.
Sure. Need
That
to,
that's
not
what
willing. Need to.
need to, but
I mean, you
that's
end
what
up being willing, but you have to
that's
need to sell. You
what I'm
can't
trying
just
to
be
say.
like, oh,
So you
this is a
you
lovely
can't
time to
just say, well,
sell.
prices are going to go down, and I'm going to go around bullying everybody into selling. No, when they list their property and they say, it's time for me to go because of these set of circumstances. Because remember, not everybody will be in the same stance where they have to sell, right? Some people will be just wanting to sell. They got to move. They got to leave. They got to, they got too big of a house, too small of a house, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They would also have to be willing to sell for less than their neighbors did in order for the market to come down. So a lot of scenarios, a lot of question marks. There's the big forecasters are always out there. I think CMHC is,
So, but even if
very
the
overstated there.
economy contracts by 3%, Canada's economy contracts by 3%.
Hmm.
Like, that's still a pretty good year, no? In
Yeah,
Toronto?
we'll be okay.
Yeah, it's like
We'll be okay. The
3%.
doomsdayers have it at a much
I don't get it. I
greater.
read these stats and I go, it's still gonna be a pretty good year for some people, most
Yeah.
people,
Well, like I said,
90% of the
what we're
people.
seeing, what we're seeing in the luxury market right now is that the people with money
Who are the buyers?
are buying.
From inside the province?
Well, nobody's allowed from outside of the province, so
So
yes,
all these are just local people moving around from one place to the other. So
there's a
effectively
huge
two deals.
there's a huge increase in people looking for pools right now. That's
Look how
like
you squeeze that in. Okay, yeah, the
I'm telling
TK
you,
theory.
every listing I'm looking at, I see this crazy stack because I'm comparing it to other properties that I'm selling or whatever it is, and then
Da-na-na. The TK theory.
I see they have a pool, and I'm like, you can't get a pool right now. You can't get an above ground pool. You can't get an in ground pool. You can't get a waiting pool.
You can't
You
get an
you
above ground
you can't get
pool.
a pool. There's just no
I
pools
can't
left.
even get. I can't even get. We have an above ground pool, and we needed. My son threw the chlorine dispenser. You know that floaty bobby thing,
Yeah,
looks like a
good luck.
mushroom. Threw it,
Yeah,
broke it. I ordered
yeah,
one from Amazon, and they
yeah.
sent me one like industrial size, like this. And in the ad, it says like 20 centimeters or something like that. It was supposed to be normal, but that's all they had.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like, we
yeah. So,
figured you were
so
better with one than without
if you
one.
can't get a pool installed and you have the money, what are your options?
You gotta buy a house with a pool
Go and buy a house with a pool.
or a condo with a pool.
Condo pools are closed right now. The
Condo
amenities are all
pools are
closed.
closed. Oh
Yeah,
no.
public swimming pools are closed.
Oh, this is a great time. I should sell my pool. I'll make fucking 10 grand off this above ground pool right now.
You can get 10 grand for that above. I bet you any money you could.